Hello everybody, I'm Petri and today I will be talking
Do I scare you, summoner?
about Nocturne, who is pretty easy jungle to play, and that is why I figured that if I would ever make a jungle guide I could start with him, because he is a very
I sense fear.
more like annoyance really, but he is a very simple champion who has easy ganks. So
Swim in terror.
that's it, we're over once this video is done. And we're gonna start this nightmare with runes. So first off, you always want to go precision, and you have two options. If the enemy team is really sturdy and you know that there are gonna be extended team fights, you can go for Conqueror because you will have that value of actually being alive for the team fight and not just having a black screen. Otherwise, if the enemy team has carries that you can quickly dispose of, I would recommend Lethal Tempo, which is what you will be taking most of the time. For jungle, I would save Conqueror for the relay, either if you really like it or the really sturdy comps. Then, because again, we are in jungle, you want to go for Triumph. You don't need that much mana regen because first off, you're not in line, so after the newest changes to it, you don't get that first part, and you have a lot of mana regen just by being in the jungle. So that same goes for Overheal, where that little shield does not do that much for you. So you wanna go for Triumph, plus the 20 gold helps you get your spikes earlier. Then Alacrity is really easy. Nocturne is full attack speed champion. Nothing to solve about that one. And lastly, again, this one depends on the game. If you think that you can quickly get the picks, you can possibly go for Coup de Grace. Although most of the time I would just recommend Last Stand because you are, even though you deal the damage extremely fast, you are still a sustained champion, kind of, a little bit. So having that increased damage while you are fighting is really great. It also synergizes well with your E, where you can possibly get low in the fight, and while the opponent is feared, you can go ahead and get that bonus from Last Stand, while possibly healing up. Secondary tree is, again, really simple. You want to go for domination, and either if you really want to get that burst, you can possibly go for sudden impact. Although I don't think that it's that useful. It can get you that one takedown, but I think that going for Eyeball Collection is just so much better because Nocturne is relying on base stats a lot. Not base stats, but his stats a lot. And lastly, you wanna go for Ultimate Hunter because your ultimate is awesome and you wanna use it as often as possible. And same goes for small runes. You always want to go for attack speed and adaptive force. And then again, depending, since you are in jungle, you mostly will be choosing what the damage of the team is overall and not just the enemy jungler. But you will be taking either armor or magic resist. And that is everything for Nocturne runes. I will see you with everything else in the game. Alright, so first off, you are a jungler. Smite is kind of like the definition of that. And Nocturne really has a good usage of flash, so we've got this over fast. Anyways, for your items, it gets a bit more interesting. First off, you can go both of the jungle items. If you want to go for Hellblade, you can. It definitely makes your E easier. Thing is that I place Threadbreaker every time, meaning that you can possibly slow them down until the fight is over by combining both of these. But I just think that going Ember Knife on a champion like Nocturne is a better option. Also, the fact that you rely on auto attacks and have so high attack speed, and you will deal additional true damage every time you hit someone. Well, the marked target, which once your Ember Knife is upgraded. I would recommend going this almost every game. I just think that because of the damage itself, it's just so much better and you will get enough utility out of your abilities and other items. Anyways, as I was saying, Stride Breaker. You usually want to full clear on Nocturne. I will be talking about it later. But once you are done, you should be able to recall and get your Iron Spike, which you will do because going for Iron Spike is a great option considering also you are a jungler, meaning that it helps a bit with the clear, I guess, but more importantly, when you are ganking, you will deal that quick additional damage that you probably won't get out of these two. So going for Iron Spike is really useful. You want to get it as early as possible. If you have ganked during that, before that first recall, you also want to get tier 1 boots because that will help you chase enemies down, hold on to your E, and this is how your first back should look. You obviously have to buy refillable potion at the start, but I consider it a obvious choice. Anyways, then you want to be finishing off your stride breaker. Mostly you will be going for the eggs right here. Then obviously Kindle Gem because you're not reliant on health. And once you have stride breaker, the choice is yours. First off, never go for Berserker Greaves. You have enough attack speed already and don't need to waste another 800 gold on a bit more. Also, you will be capped after a while. So you got exactly these three options. First off, Tabbies are really simple Mercury turrets also. Usually you will probably be going for these because I see a lot more AD champs in the season. So, but it's steel caps. If enemy team has some really strong AP or has a lot of CC, a lot of tanks, obviously Mercury turrets. There's there's not even a reason to make guide about it when to take which one. And if you feel like you don't need that much tankiness, you can possibly go for Ionian Boots of Lucidity, so you can spam your Q and possibly E. But I think that these two are a bit too good to go for Ionian Boots of Lucidity often. And after that, it again depends on the enemy team comp. I usually tend to go Blade of the Ruined King, so you get some more sustain other than your passive. And also the fact that it has its Mist Edge passive. The Siphon also works really well because you are stealing their movement speed, meaning that you get another way to slow them down. So Blade of the Ruined King is probably what I would like to build. But most of the time, if there are some bruisers or tanks, you will be going Black Cleaver. You will probably be able to build both of them in one game, so go ahead and do that. After that, it again really depends. If you know that there will be those extended team fights where you probably will take the Conqueror, go for Sterox Gauge. It will just allow you to go in, get a pick, and get out. Or if the team fight is looking like it's gonna be over soon, you can obviously stay in. Here they are recommending Collector, which I would not go on Nocturne. There's no. But what you can go for is either Uh, Chainsword for life, lifesteal, life cut, and basically any of their assassin items. If they have a lot of armor, go for Serilda. I found out that it works really well, and also the slow on every of your ability, basically only Q, but E is also gets the slow, means that you will be able to pretty much catch up to anyone anytime, and not even the dashes will be too much of a use, unless they dash over a wall, then Nocturne is kind of screwed. Anyways, Ravenous Hydra is an option. I have not really tried it out, so I can tell you anything about it. If enemy team also has some burst that some fat champion with burst, then you can go for Guardian Angel because you should be able to kill them once their abilities are on cooldown. Again, then there's Night Edge, which I usually only go if enemy team has a Morgana because I hate getting hit by that Q. And it works really nice with combination of your own spell shield, where you basically can't be hit by two abilities, which is a big deal. But yes, most of the time you will be going for one of these three, where Chainsword is a releaseful item which you probably will be going most often. And for the first time in history, I will be talking about wards. So obviously, at the start of the game, you want to get your normal stealth ward and ward one of your sites of the jungle where you are not going to start. Then you want to recall, get your Oracle Lens, which for the early ganks, if you are going to do them, are really important. And you can get a Vision of Dragon. Just you will once you start farming and actually playing the game, you want to get Oracle Lens. Once the game is in mid game, possibly going more towards late game, you, if your team already has someone else with Oracle Lenses, which mostly will be the support and possibly maybe mid laner, you can go ahead and get Farsight, so you can work with your ultimate and basically be able to see anyone you need to see when you activate Paranoia. So in the late game, I would probably recommend it. You can try to talk to your ADC if they are taking it to either give it to you, like let you take it, or basically warding for you, because I don't think there's that much need for having two far sides. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In the late game, you might want to take it if you want to get picks. Otherwise, you can just stick to your Oracle lenses. And now to abilities. First off, Nocturne's passive is Umbra Blades. Basically, every 14 seconds, your next auto attack will be empowered. It deals, I believe, yes, it is 120 of your AD. And that means that you will also damage everything that is around your target. For every enemy hit, you will heal health scaling with magic. Oh my goodness. With ability power. And this is it. It's a great form of sustain. It makes Nocturne's clear really healthy to a point where he does not really need refillable potions for the clear itself. And it is very powerful. Every time you auto attack someone, you will also. It has 14-second cooldown, as I said. But if you attack a champion or a jungle monster, the cooldown will be reduced by 3 seconds. Meaning that once you are on that high attack speed, you will be using it almost all the time. If you attack a minion, you will only get a reduction of 1 second. But let's be honest, if you are playing jungle, how often do you fight minions? One last thing to say about this ability is that, unlike many AoE abilities, this does not trigger your Ember Knife, meaning that if you attack a jungle camp, for example Raptors, which are best example, the burn will go on the one you hit, but not on the little ones. Well, the everyone else, not necessarily the little ones. So you usually want to use this just as a way to damage some jungle camps and not trigger this for that you need your Q, which is your only AoE ability apart from this. Talking about your Q, it is a quite long range skill shot which creates a trail of darkness behind it. On Once you are on the darkness by the way lasts 5 seconds. Once you are on, you get bonus attack damage and movement speed, meaning that you can easily chase anyone because if you hit a champion, for the duration of the trail itself, they will be creating the trail behind themselves. So Nocturne has easy way of chasing someone, and while you are on your trail, you are extremely powerful and you can pretty much try to kite some lower range champions because Nocturne also has one of the lowest auto attacks range, but one of the highest auto attack speed. But so trying to do this is really hard, but it is possible once you have the bonus from your Q. You can use this for chases, or if you know that you can't win, you can just use this for escapes. You also will be using this ability when you are leaving the base to get into your jungle. Next we got Nocturne's W, which first off passively you gain 30 to 50% auto attack speed, meaning that on level 2, where you will be taking this ability, you will have one auto attack per second, which is the highest auto attack speed in the game on level 2. And it is just really powerful getting auto attack speed out just because. But yes, then there's the active part, which is a spell shield, which I was kind of talking about earlier. So it holds up for 1.5 seconds, and when enemy triggers it, you gain bonus attack speed, which goes from well, it is only 100%. I always think that it scales, and well, it does not matter. What this means is that you have a pretty nice no U card, where if someone tries to use, you usually will be using this on CC for obvious reasons, but if someone tries to deal a significant damage to you, for example, first thing I can think of is Yasuo's Q, where you can deny him not only his ultimate, but also you get 100 attack speed, meaning that you are really a force to be, or really a dangerous foe when you have your W activated. One last thing, if you feel that it is extremely safe to take the Drake in a short time, so you know that the enemy jungler is not waiting right behind the wall to jump over, you can, because Dragon's auto attacks are in fact abilities, try to block Dragon attacks to deal with them fast. Now keep in mind that I'm level 18 Nocturne, so this will be really easy, but right now this active I have 2.8 auto attack speed without lethal tempo, obviously. But that's the point. Once your uh, once your W is used, you can you get tremendous amounts of attack speed, meaning that that dragon will not hold for long. So you can use this when you know that you have an option to get out of the dragon pit before the enemy arrives, but you won't actually need to use this to fight the enemy. So for example, if you kill enemy jungler and you quickly want to kill the drake before they respawn. And lastly, for our base abilities, we got Nocturne's E, which is Unspeakable Horror. You will be able to target a champion or pretty much anything. Uh, I think it works on bigger monsters too. Well, on uh, it works on everything on the level of Big Raptor. And you will be able to target them, deal damage over time, and after 2 seconds, they will be feared. The fear lasts from, I believe, 125 to 225 seconds, and this is how you will be ganking. Passively, you will also get 90% bonus movement speed towards enemies that are feared. You can probably by now see how much he relies on stats, because he has movement speed, attack damage. Uh, but anyways, this means that that does not work only towards your own E. You can use this towards any fear in the game. So if you have our really great friend Checo, who is playing any lane he wants because he's there just to be annoying, if he sets down his boxes, you will pretty much be able to close up to an enemy without ever using any of your abilities, and can save them once you are sticking to them. So most of the time you will use your E and try to use either your Stride Breaker, or if you have it, your Blue Smite, or in the case you need to, you can obviously go ahead and use Flash. This is really important because the range on your E is bigger than the range on a Flash. So if you stick onto a champion without a dash, obviously if they do have one, they they may get out. But if you E flash on them and then go for Stride Breaker, there's a low chance of them escaping. And then we got Nocturne's ultimate, Paranoia. First off, on the first cast you will blind, well, it's what is it called? What do they call them? Well, does not matter. You will pretty much make everyone see only their own character model, and I believe 20 units to each, not 20, 100 units to each side, maybe. I'm not good at numbers in League. But this will completely remove any vision from allies, any vision from wards, and as so it will also prevent ultimates like Shen or Galio, because they don't have anyone they can target. On the second cast, Nocturne will dash to a champion within range. The range scales with every point in the ability. You can see it right here. And once you do so, Nocturne will dash towards them at incredible speed, dealing pretty great damage, if I say so. And keep in mind that while you are dashing towards them, everyone else does not know that unless they are playing in a group. So this means that once you drop your R1, you can easily go for a gank and pretty much help everywhere, because enemies might get scared that it's their lane who's what is getting targeted. So you can also use this to save your teammates. One last thing, you obviously want to use this as often as possible because it's really powerful. You will get really easy ganks and kills with it. You can also use your paranoia in a way where if you are near an enemy already, you will usually go and drop your basic combo, and then if they use their disengage, you just paranoia onto them, because it is instant dash almost. if it's on close distance. Meaning that they just wasted their own utility mobility and you are still sticking onto them. So if you can save it during these close during these close ganks where you may not actually chase them after the first E. And now a bit about mechanics. I already talked about E-Flash. You can obviously go and do the same with your Q. Uh, I don't think that this is that useful. You usually want to save the flash for the E itself, but in the case where low health enemy is running away, you can obviously go ahead and do that. And that is for basic mechanics, everything. For combos, you usually will start, as I was saying, with your Q. Once you get towards them, you E, Stride Breaker, start auto attacking them, and you will be using your W if you see some major ability coming up. For example, first thing again I can think of because I played against it recently. Aatrox third Q. Because of your movement speed, it's really hard for him to hit the first two, and obviously the third one goes straight on top of him. And if you Shroud of Darkness it, not only will he get really destroyed by your attack speed, but he also can't do anything to you. So I won't be including W in the combos ever because it depends on enemy when you will use it. You can start with it when you are, for example, trying to gank someone like Caitlyn, or as I was saying, Shaco, who you probably won't be ganking, but if there's a Shaco, you can uh, use it preemptively so you don't get rooted or feared or anything like this. Also on Veigar and his cage, you will be using this on Veigar and his cage preemptively. And then obviously the full combo is using your ultimate, R'ing your enemy, Eing them, Q, and obviously you want to Q in the direction of uh, of their basic escape. You don't really need to worry about the direction of your Q when you are standing on top of them, because they will leave the trail behind. So in case you know that you will be killing them really quickly, for example they are on low health, and you are there, standing there, you got them slowed, you want to use your Q backwards. Because if they run, you can still follow them. But if their teammates show up, you can just run away on your trail. And that is pretty much everything to abilities I can say. So let's move straight towards the laning. Laning. You see how not enough jungle guys I make? Towards the gameplay itself. So first off, we will go over Nocturne's pretty much gameplay. We'll make the jungle clears at the end. Uh, as I was saying, you want to go for that full clear. You usually do not want to gank until level 6 unless you have really easy ganks where enemy is overpushing. You because you will probably be able to win the fight, but you will not be able to chase them without if they are not behind the middle of the lane. Also, Nocturne does not have highest HP at the start, meaning that you can't really go for tower dives early. So just farm it up, get a kill on the jungler when you are going for a scuttle grab, and then possibly try and get a gank if you see an opportunity. Otherwise, wait for your level 6 and then unleash the terror of nobody knowing what's happening while you are killing the mid laner. This paranoia also means that you have really good counter ganks. Because while many junglers has to just stick around if they think that they will be needed, you can be so far away and get in the fight in a second or two, meaning that you have a really free will, and you can pretty much farm all the time, get those XP, get the levels, and then just double tap your R button and win the fight. Farming on Nocturne is really important because with every item you get, you will become gradually more powerful, even more so than other champions, because combined with your own abilities that themselves grant you base stats, you will usually be trying to go for those on-hit items that will grant you another effect. And with that, Nocturne can pretty much one-shot ADCs. He has a really good way of fighting bruisers because, as I was saying in the runes, you start the fight, your E is damaging them, you get low if they happen to get you low. But once that happens, they usually get feared because you have to hope that Bruiser is not able to kill you in 2 seconds. And as I said, if that happens, you can just go straight on them with them being feared, you having your normal attack damage higher than ever, and just demolish them with your Blade of the Ruined King, which I just really like on Nocturne, and I will be talking about it every time I play him. But yes, also your W is a great tool. You can use this usually you can use this only in duels. In team fights, once enemies saw that you used it, they usually want to get rid of the Nocturne because obviously he is really good at dueling pretty much almost anyone. Ah, and that's it. For these reasons, you want to be choosing what you want to jungle against. Normally, I just think that early game bruisers in jungle, like Olaf or Udyr, are extremely dangerous, and they are what you should be trying to ban with Nocturne. First, I would mostly go for Udyr because honestly, it's a long time since I saw Olaf played. I personally would say that Olaf is a bit more scary because he has by himself he has a lot of AD and base stats in that early game, and he also can totally negate your not only your ultimate but also your fear, meaning that he can pretty much screw you over really fast. But Udyr is equally as scary, and he sees a lot more play from my experience. So that would be my number one gank. Then you probably can get rid of the things that have a lot of CC, like for example Y or Nunu. Alright, and now the promised jungle clear. First off, I would say that I'm not playing jungle as my main role, and you can definitely find some better guides on how to clear with jungle with Nocturne. But the easiest I found to be used is full clear starting on red buff, where you want to your first Q going towards your golems, then pull your red buff. You will want to use your smite on him, so you can spend every resources on golems, and you can actually do them really quickly thanks to Nocturne's passive. After you start attacking golems, you want to pull them a bit towards Raptors. But most important part is that if you are able to, you want to save your empowered auto attack on the mini golems, because that way you will be able to make it much faster than normally. Anyways, after you get to Raptors, you want to hit one with auto attack, pull them, hit everything with the Q. Then you can pretty much stand in the place until all of them dies. If you see some low health raptor following you, they will most likely die to your item. Then, when you're fighting walls, you want to start with the diagonal Q, so you hit all of them, want to pull them towards your blue. For blue, you want to hit it with your Q before you get to it, so you can pull it towards Grump easier. Once you get it in the position, you again want to go behind it and hit both blue and Grump with your Q. Then you start doing typical two camp clear. Best way to do this is to start killing Grump faster, so you can pull blue towards your scuttle and that way spend some more time. And then depends on you. You can either go and ahead and kill the scuttle using the smite if needed, or you can go ahead and gank, or both. The option is on you. And that is going to be the full clear I can give you. And with that, the nightmare is over, and I can go back to playing my beautiful Akshan. I hope I teach you something new. Go ahead and like the video if you liked it, and I will see you in the next video. Battery out.